Everybody, and welcome back to day 25 of Inktober 2020. I'm slowly losing my brain, slowly losing my mind, and slowly losing the function to actually use these two fingers, well, this finger and this thumb. Maybe they're a little bit resting on this one. That's why I have these resting things on my fingers. And if you've heard anything about them, they are like handy little things to help me draw or supports for my fingers, but that's just something I sort of do off stream and do other things with polymer clay, which I'll be going back to next month. But we are still in October, or as I like to call it, Inktober 2020. If you don't know the rules of Inktober, you've got yourself a single ink pen, or you can have many varied of different types of ink pen. I'm only going to be using this one uniball ink pen. I still say ink pen. How many times did I say ink pen in one go? But I'll be using that one single to sketch the idea. Then I'll be going in with these Copic markers to give the illustration a bit of shade. But if you don't know what I've been doing so far, I started to draw a comic on day 10 using the prompts. And each day I've been sort of going, where could the scene be this time? Where could it be doing this time? If you are interested, guys, then the best thing to do is go and check out the playlist, or you can go and check out every day of this month of October, Inktober, up on the channel, because that's all I've been doing. I haven't even had chance to play any game on Twitch, so I'll be definitely going back to playing some more games after today. After this month. I'm going to be taking a little, just teeny weeny break, just probably a couple of days, where I won't be doing much other than maybe playing a few games on the Twitch channel, maybe playing some games on the YouTube channel, but there definitely will be things posted. I'm also going to be putting all of these illustrations from each day into 2, maybe possibly 3 videos, depending if I can get them into 2 videos or not. I've already got one video, and that was up to, what did we got up to Outpost, and that one was sorted out. We've done the Outpost, and then so that video is all edited and ready. It's just got a little bit of music over top of that, and then we're going to be doing all the rest up to 31 days on the second video, depending on if I can fit them in. It may only be able to get up to like day 27, and then I'll cut it again, so you can have 28 to 31 in another video. But you'll have to wait till next month to find and see that one. What I'm planning on doing for the edited version is I have been colouring these ones off stream, but I am showing you over on the Twitch. Sorry, not on Twitch. On the damn, I should have done it on Twitch actually. I will be doing it on the. I've been recording it and colouring in, but I've been showing you how to. Showing you what I've been doing and bits and bits over on TikTok. I am going to be making another TikTok live today, and if you want to sort of know how I do it, you can see. If you've got any questions on how I've done any of the artwork so far, the best thing to do is drop me a comment in the comment bar. As always, guys, the comments will pop up here. If I don't see them straight away, that means I'm looking down here, but I generally see the little red taco talk up over there, and it lets me know that you guys have tuned in, or if you guys have left me a comment. I will be opening comments, but I check comments every 15 minutes or so, just to give myself a good chunk of time so I can get something drawn, check comments, another chunk, check comments, and so on and so on and so on. I set a timer for 15, and then I set a timer for 50, because I try and get it all done in 50 minutes, but be prepared that this is probably going to take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get the whole thing drawn. And obviously, once I finish drawing, I will give it a little bit of shade as well. Shading and drawing are different things to me. But if you don't know anything about me, guys, my name is Blut084, BLUT084. I do sketch artwork, I do polymer clay artwork, and I also do a little bit of VR artwork. So don't forget to, if you are looking for something to do, to go and check out the Creation Station, all VR playlists, and live events for every illustration or any artwork that I've ever done. So I'm going to open up the comments now. If I actually refresh this page and tap that one, doesn't look like somebody did join us, and they. So it looked like they joined us and they left again. I probably ain't going to bother too much about comments, because what I seem to do is people seem to start and they pop in and then they bugger off. So I'm kind of like, why are you doing that? It's kind of annoying because pop in, leave a comment. If you don't leave a comment, fair enough. If you just want to pop in and say, if you just want to pop in and have a look what I'm doing, that's cool. But don't forget to always come back and check and see how I finished and how I got that illustration done. But yeah, if you want to leave some comments, guys, please do. But it is really annoying if you're going to put in like links, or if you're going to put in things that aren't very nice or very well, corruptive to mind. So don't, please be nice in the comments. But I'll check them every 15 minutes and then I'll be getting on with things. Today's word for today's prompt for Inktober 2020 is buddy, day 25. We're going to be continuing on where we left off from the word dig. And I will be giving you a little bit of synopsis over on the twitch.com channel. No, not Twitch, on the TikTok. Don't know why I'm saying Twitch. I've got this game I really want to play, Brutal Legend. Yeah, I found out that that's free on the Xbox Pass at the moment, so I'm hoping it will stay until next month. I can play a little bit of it before it goes. If it even goes, it might be one of these popular games that stays. But anyway, back onto the drawing today. Again, I've got some, I'm going to listen to some comic storying because I'm fed up with listening to music. And I want to sort of listen to a story to send my mind off somewhere so I can just focus on the drawing. Again, if I don't see your comments and I don't answer them straight away, I will check them every 15 minutes. So leave them coming in. Just be nice. And if you don't want to leave a comment, that's fair enough. But if you just want to pop in and keep watching, the best, what I would really prefer you guys to do is definitely leave a like if you're new and subscribe if you do. And I said that backwards. Right, there's my intro done. Let's get on with what I'm doing. Alexa, set me a timer for 15 minutes. I'm not going to waste too much time on comments today.
Starting now.
Got the TikTok already started. And I've got a few references. Now, there ain't nothing wrong using references, guys. People say, oh, you're drawing, you're just drawing it. You're not drawing it straight from your head. You go to any artist, you'll find that every single artist do some sort of reference because they can't just pick it out of their brain. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, that ain't going to work. So I'm using a few references for a buddy dog. Maybe I really like this image here. So I think I'm going to be somewhere on this page. I'll be doing something like that. I'm going to maybe, I don't know if I should split this one in half or just do a massive like drawing of a dog or my doggy dragon. Again, I need a name for my doggy dragon, or my dog dragon, my little buddy. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments, or you can go again over Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. Otherwise, guys, enjoy today's Inktober and enjoy today's comic story. It is The Witching Hour. We listened to it a little bit yesterday, so if you want to catch up on that, go over to their channel and check them out. Otherwise, go check out yesterday's illustration so you know what happened in yesterday's story. But we're going to be continuing on my story, so let's get on with that.
Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks.
Alexa, volume up 2.
Digestible bites that
Alexa, set me a timer for 50 minutes.
Second timer, 50 minutes, starting now.
Right, let's have a
The
think.
Witching Hour. When we last left off, we discovered that Wonder Woman had a new power, something magical within her, something that you discovered underneath her headband. And in The Witching Hour, we are now discovering what that means and what it means for her. This is a story of supernatural, of darkness, of evil magics. And what will happen? Well, stick around and find out. For the Amazons of Themyscira, they would often feel something pulling on their hearts as the moonlit shadows grew each night. It was something that they could not explain, like some cosmic thing that was warning them that there is something to fear in the dark. Many years ago, the young Diana felt just that. But instead of pulling the covers over her face, she went out. What she found was something so horrible that she couldn't comprehend it. She wanted to scream, but no sounds left her lips, only a hoarse, rasping voice. She wished that she could unsee what was just seen, but it was too late. The witching hour was upon us. As the mangled bodies of the witches of Hecate chased her, they pinned her down so that the witch goddess herself could do what she wanted. And Diana could feel the arcane energy of the branding iron getting close to her, and she screamed as it was pushed down on her forehead. When it was all done, she ran to her mother's bedside to tell her everything that she could remember. And the
Yeah,
queen
just me.
wasted
I'm
no
going to get
time
on with
bringing
this.
more
Probably ignore
tormentors
comments
to the
today,
palace.
guys.
The witches said
Sunday
it
is
was
a bit of
true
a
that they
relaxed
serve
day.
Hecate, the triple goddess of witchcraft, and each month they walk to the old crossroads in the forest to perform their rites to their patron. There are secrets in those rites, but no menace. In all of their years, they've never witnessed such horrors like the ones that the princess speaks of. They hope that their patron hears their prayers, but she has always been with them in spirit, not body. When they found the young princess asleep in a tree above their ceremony, they thought it best to return her to her bed without waking her. As Diana reached womanhood, they would be glad to teach her anything she wishes to know of their ways. They only need to call upon them. Hippolyta looks at her daughter and asks if that satisfies her, and Diana laughs, stating it does. She's terribly sorry for the trouble that she has caused them. From that night on, she would sleep soundly, but once Diana was taken away, Hippolyta shouted and demanded, asking, what have they done with her daughter? The witches tell her that they would never, but Hippolyta shouts that she heard their bedtime story, and she appreciates them comforting Diana. She will not ask again. Their queen commands them to speak. In unison, the three witches become calm, and the triple goddess Hecate herself appears. She whispers quietly, you will forget all of this, into Hippolyta's ear, and the three witches quickly fall to their knees, bowing, stating that she has come. They called for her under many moons, and feared their offerings were not enough to please her. Her eyes glow purple, and she smiles, telling them they were not. The witches begin to feel something inside of them, and as their bodies turn to sand, she tells them that her time draws closer, and soon she will call upon her true children, her witch mart. At long last, the world will feel her fury. As lightning strikes over the Hall of Justice, in the current day, Diana tells the League that magic as they know it has been destroyed, and the foe that they faced, well, show them, Zatanna. Zatanna places her hands on the table, stating that it isn't safe for her to use the usual brand of magic. So forgive her that her rune work is a little bit rusty. As she begins to draw her rune, a bright light shines from it as the projection of the Upside Down Man appears. And Diana says that the Upside Down Man is the tip of the spear, a singular being in a race of cosmic horrors known as the Other Kind. He was able to destroy Swamp Thing with a mere gesture. He turned Detective Chimp into a puddle of flesh, and he effortlessly ripped the demon blood out of John Constantine's body. They managed to save their friends and drive the creature back, but the Other Kind's powers seem to be unlimited. Batman then asks, what about the magical heavy hitters? We should call Jason Blood and... Zatanna stops him, stating that Jason Blood and the others of the magical community have swore off helping the Justice League. They wish to solve this problem themselves. Superman then asks, what of Dr. Fate? Why isn't he helping your cause? And Diana explains that Dr. Fate is the one who guided the creatures here. Kent Nelson is trapped within the helmet, and Nabu is tired of the chaos caused by magic, and he seeks to end it. Dr. Fate is the other threat that they wanted to speak of, mainly because he tried to feed them to the Upside Down Man. Superman pauses for a moment and asks, you managed to fight this creature back? And Diana tells him yes. So then he stares at Diana, asking, how? She thinks back to the power that she unleashed, and she says that they were just lucky. They can't rely on that happening again. She'll work with her team to develop the next steps and report back. Martian Manhunter tells her that they have their thanks. If they could, they would like Zatanna to stay for a moment. As Diana gets ready to set foot in the door, she looks back and Zatanna tells them, sure. Once she leaves, Zatanna tells Batman that she really wishes they hadn't done that. Diana still hasn't forgiven her for siding with the magical community at the beginning of all of this. And Batman says that he has seen Diana stare down gods and battle horrors. He's never seen her like this before. Something about this threat is under her skin. We've known each other for a long time, and I know that there's something that you're not telling me, but I need to know. Are you up for this? Zatanna tells him that she hopes so. She really, really hopes so. And as she leaves, Batman looks back at everyone and says, okay, who else is concerned? As Zatanna catches up to Diana, she asks when exactly did she decide to not tell them about the unknown, the unspeakable, the powerful source of magic trapped within her head. Diana looks at her own reflection in a mirror, and she says that until they understand what the mark is, she's not going to concern the League. She also doesn't want them to rely on something inside of her that she cannot control. This mark, she could recall an echo of a nightmare from when she was a child. But how is that possible? As the two leave, Hecate's face appears in the mirror, and she turns towards the doorway leading to the Justice League meeting room. Inside, Flash says, okay, I for one am scared out of my mind. I'm not going to get sleep for like a week. And Hawkgirl says that she can't think of a single lifetime that she has ever liked magic. It's always the end of the world and horrible monsters. But just then Hecate appears, and she whispers into everyone's ears, you will forget all of this, As she fades, Martian Manhunter says, "Yes, where were we? Ted Cord has registered another complaint." Meanwhile, over at the Oblivion Bar, the witches of the Sisterhood of the Sleight of Hand gather around for a night of fun and laughter. The girls meet up every so often to encourage one another, even the ones who know only the minor crafts. But tonight the air is thick with power, and even Constantine, who knows why he's here, feels it. Then Rebecca Carstairs, the one known as Witchfire, walks in. Once everyone has their drinks in their hand, Tracy13 calls out to everyone. "All right, I call this meeting of the Midnight Society to order. For those who know me and those who don't, my name is Tracy13, and in these troubled times I am your sister. We're going to have an invocation tonight and to find protection against the threat looming over magic kind, so please take each other's hands." Just then, Witchfire feels something, and she sees something from her childhood. A brand. She drops her glass and her skin turns white, and Hecate's brand appears on her forehead, and she tells everyone to run. Please run! Through her body, Hecate speaks, telling them that they invoke her name and her power. Yet they waste it on idle fantasy. They have forgotten the triple goddess that they serve. The world of magic will has failed me, and I will burn it out and create something new in its place. I have no use for you. Witchfire's body ignites, spreading fire throughout the entire Oblivion Bar. Some witches manage to escape, but others are not so fortunate. But meanwhile, down in the Hall of Justice, Diana gathers her team, stating that they need to find answers and fast. Take the opportunity that they have before the other can break through But just then a voice calls out to Diana, whispering to her, "Remember." Diana struggles, stating no, and then images of her childhood flash before her eyes, and the brand begins to shine. Just as before, white hair and white skin, Diana says that she can feel her. Zatanna runs over, telling her to just remain calm. She has powered through this before. She can do it again. Hecate then appears above everyone and tells Zatanna that no, she cannot. Detective Chimp points up, asking, "Anyone else see that there? Or is my drink much stronger than it tasted?" Hecate stares at Zatanna, asking, "Do you know who I am?" And Zatanna kneels down, stating yes, she is Hecate, the goddess of magic. Her father taught her to pay homage to her. Hecate says, "I rather liked your father, but he was short-sighted. All of your kind is." Bobo runs over to the computer to try and contact the League, but Hecate pulls him back, stating, "No one will hear you now. The mundane world will be blind to my magic until my work is done." Bobo calls out to Zatanna to hurry up and get them out of here, and Zatanna tells him that her magic is dangerous. If she speaks, she could free the other kind. So Bobo shouts, "How come one magic person on our team can't do freaking magic?" Right, okay, thinking. Swampy, get us in the closet now. Swamp Thing uses his husks to slow down Hecate, and he grabs everyone and he runs over to the closet door. Hecate tells Diana that she is witch-marked. Her power is laying safe, hidden within her since childhood, and she needs it back. Everyone crashes through the closet door, with Zatanna asking, "You put a door in your bar to the Hall of Justice?" Bobo tips his hat, stating, "It seemed like a good idea at the time, and clearly it was. Just try the door!" Swamp Thing crushes it with his vines, and Kirk Langston sighs, stating, "I could go for a beer right now." He opens up the cellar door, and he looks out, stating, "Oh, no. The charred bodies of the Sisterhood of the Sleight Hand witches lay scattered, with Constantine sitting in the bar. Zatanna asks if it's him, and he looks back, getting up, and kisses her. She pulls herself back, asking, "Why did you do that?" And Constantine tells her, "Isn't it obvious, love? Look around. This is my last chance. The witching hour has begun, and we're all about to die." Later, out on the waters, Bobo tells everyone, "We're all coming up to the island. Brace yourselves. There's no telling how weird things are going to get," says the talking chimp driving a boat full of monsters. Swamp Thing looks down at the knocked-out unicorn, asking, "Do we really need to offer this to her? What is she going to do to the poor thing?" Kirk tells him, "I'm pretty sure none of us want to know the answer to that one." And Diana sits in the front of the boat as they approach Athea, watching as they get closer. Zatanna tells everyone that they need to be careful with how they go about this. There's no telling what you-know-who is going to throw at them. Hell, there's a good chance that she already knows and she's waiting to spring a trap. Zatanna heads to the front, telling the same thing to Diana, but Diana jumps over the edge, swimming to the shore, stating the time for waiting has passed. No matter what horrors lie on this island, they must face them if they are to have any hope. Zatanna calls out for her to wait. Don't say her! But without listening, Diana says it. Circe. The clouds in the sky begin to swirl, and there's a loud crack-a-boom as lightning strikes down. And suddenly everyone begins to change into animals, including Bobo. Circe appears shouting, You dare face me at my place of power. With a single gesture, I can have my companions feasting on your fetid meat on the jagged rock face. I welcome whatever madness drove you to my domain. Have you anything to say for yourself, idiot child?" Diana raises up her tiara, showing the witch-marked brand. She says, "Circe, we need help." Cersei looks at it and
It's
says,
just me recording there,
"The
guys.
witch mark of Hecate,
I'm also going to
you've been
record on
marked."
TikTok.
She
Not
quickly
that
reverts her
anybody's here.
spells and changes to normal clothes, stating, "You'll have to forgive me for the theatrics. I'm a few thousand years old, and I do enjoy playing with the heroes quite a bit. Silly outfits, the punching it all keeps things from getting tedious. But this is no time for such things. The witching hour has begun." She hugs Diana and says that she is so sorry. It's going to get much worse from here. Over in New Mexico, though, Hecate's call reaches another child. Manitow Dawn. Hecate told her where she needed to go, and without saying a word, Manitow leaped into the air. Back on the island, Cersei welcomes everyone into her home, and Bobo looks at the glass, with Cersei telling him that wine is from California. She did not touch it. However, she can't get over the fact that they brought her an actual unicorn. What on earth is she going to do with an actual unicorn? She realized that's what she makes her billionaire clients do to prove that they're worth her time, right? Diana folds her arms, stating that this is all far from the point. "We appreciate your hospitality, but we've come seeking information. This is not a time for a drink or revelry. We need to understand what we are facing. We need to know what this mark on my forehead is, and what Hecate hopes to accomplish." Hecate is her patron. Cersei tells her patron isn't the word that she would use. The relationship has always been far darker than that. Allow her to try and explain. Before the gods first walked the earth, before all of the pantheons of the cultures of the world, there was Hecate. She was the primal woman incarnate, maidenhood to motherhood, to crone, birth, creation, death, all of it. Her symbol was the full moon, the symbol of mankind's great collective unconsciousness. She represented nature itself and the potential of nature. They would come to call her
just
the triple
do it,
goddess of
stupid
magic,
pen.
the witch mother. In the early days of man, when she still consorted with an open heart and mind, they were the first magicians attempting to steal the unlimited power within her. To protect her countless power from the growing darkness, she broke it into 5 pieces and hid it within 5 young women until the hour came that she could take that power back. As those women lived and died, she would rehouse it, never taking the power back into herself. And since the early days of man, there have always been 5 of the witch marked. Few have ever understood the power hidden within themselves, and fewer still have ever wielded that power. The power itself is corrosive. It's too much for the human soul to bear. Should they activate it, she would be capable of controlling her witch marked like puppets. Understand this: as each of her witch marks activates, she will grow more powerful.
Alexa, stop.
What magic has become on this world. And from
Alexa,
what you have told me about the
set a time of 15 minutes.
She fears that time
Second timer.
she will
15
learn the
minutes.
art of magic
Starting
and
now.
become their own power. If she succeeds, she will control all of magic like she can control her witch marked, and prevent the other kind from ever crossing over. Understand this too. Hecate may have once represented something light in the world, but she has become a twisted force of hate. With all of the power that I wield, I am nothing in the face of what Hecate is capable of. There is no power in the world that could stop her. Diana asks, what about if her own power was used against her? When the Upside Down Man activated her mark, she had some control over it. Perhaps her magic could do the same. Cersei thinks about it and says that is a very interesting question. It could work. Zatanna slams her hands on the table, shouting, "How could you even consider this? Batman was right. Maybe you aren't up for this." Diana stands up, yelling that is enough. There is a power inside of her capable of ripping this world apart, and their enemies wish to use her for that. If there is any way that she can control it, then by the fate she will do it. Diana turns to Cersei and asks, "Could you activate the mark in such a way that it would shield me from Hecate's control? There must be something that can be done." Cersei tells her, yeah, she can whip up something, as Zatanna yells for Diana to just stop and listen to yourself. Diana waves her off, stating that she is done listening, and Cersei begins to cast her magic, telling Diana that this is going to sting just a bit. But before the spell could go off, Deadman phases through the ceiling, shouting, "Finally! There you idiots are! By the way, do you know that there's a really nervous unicorn running around upstairs?" Constantine looks at Deadman, asking, "What's wrong?" And Deadman explains, "The Ramakrishna has sent me to get help. Heard that there's a new Justice League Dark or something. Right now, Nanda Parbat is burning down, and if we don't stop Manitow Dawn, she'll tear it down. Manitow is wielding a power that I've never seen before. Everything that we throw at it just bounces off. This is some kind of magic hooey that makes me feel like I'm still some hick Cardi out of my depth." Boba says, "Well, unfortunately, we're all getting pretty used to that feeling about this point." Deadman then goes on, telling him, "Yeah, well, I'm all ears. Something has to be done." Diana calls out to him, stating, "Don't worry, there is." And she steps forward with her witch mark activated, and Cersei smiling. Diana then turns away from the others with a flick of her wrist. A hole into reality opens up, taking them all from one end of the world to the other. This is what terrified Zatanna the most. So much power wielded without a thought, and every magician knows that with all great magic comes a great cost. Everyone begins to step through the portal, but Zatanna, she walks in with caution. Seconds later, the others find themselves standing at the foot of Nanda Parbat, just in time to watch it burn, and at the very top, Manitau is reaching into the ancient stone walkways, ripping them apart, laying waste to everything in sight. The dead men, Nanda Parbat's last line of defense, have separated from their hosts, and they are piled into Manitau to try and stop her, but with a simple "get out," all of the dead men are expelled. As Manitau finishes, she looks back at the temple, and Ramakushna looks at Hecate and asks, "Why do you seek destruction? I have guarded the boundary of life and death for generations. I have never meddled in your affairs." Hecate rises up, stating, "Yes, and you've done a poor work of it. Humankind sits at the precipice of destruction and magic, and it has become a liability. I will burn it all and replace it with something better." Hecate then points to Ramakushna, telling Manitau to show her their power. Manitau then gathers her strength and releases a powerful blast of energy aimed right at Ramakushna. At the last second, a pair of stone arms go up, protecting Ramakushna, and as they crumble away, Diana walks through, calling out to Hecate. Hecate sees her and tells her, "You dare and try to use my power against me." Diana calls out to her, "I did not call for this gift. However, I will use whatever weapon the gods have willed upon me." As the two get ready for their battle, Deadman flies up, telling Ramakushna that they have to get her out of here, and she asks what of their home. Deadman says, "This place is just brick and mortar. The rest is a metaphor. We can get that crap anywhere." Ramakushna tells him that she's not sure, and Deadman says, "You gave me a second chance. Now allow me to help you. I've been at this game for a long time. All we need is a corporeal form, and we can get you out of here." Ramakushna looks at the monk host for her dead men, stating, "These will do for now." As Zatanna and the others help the monks up, Constantine asks, "How much you want to bet the entire structural integrity of this place is about to fall?" Swamp Thing jumps over the ledge as his vines spread out, and he says, "I can bind it for now. Just allow me a moment." Deadman then tells Zatanna that they need to figure out a way to get out of here, and Boba says, I might be able to help with that, if I remember how to use this damn sword." Ramakushna says that is the sword of night, and he is the Night Master. And Bobo tells her, "Yeah, sure, something like that," and he swings the sword. A portal begins to open up, and Zatanna tells everyone to hurry up and get through it. Diana will kill us if any of us get incinerated by her crossfire. As everyone begins to pass through, Deadman says that he really hopes to hell that she knows what she's doing. And Zatanna tells him, "Yeah, me too." Deadman then says that just to be clear, "I'm saying that just because it's damn clear that she has no freaking idea what she's doing with that power." And Zatanna tells him, "Point taken, now go." Back in the center of the city, Diana flies around, fighting back both Hecate and Manitau. But Hecate calls out to Swamp Thing, asking, "Can you feel it yet? Other things are happening." Swamp Thing pauses for a moment and then shouts, "No, you can't do this." Elsewhere, before the Parliament of the Trees, Black Orchid stands before them, having her witch mark activated. Diana yells to Hecate, asking, "What have you done?" And Hecate tells her, "I carried a piece of your soul, you and your sisters, and we've created a brave new world." Diana charges in, asking, "Where have you sent the others?" And as she attacks, Hecate shouts in pain. She holds out her hand, stating that she has had enough of these games. She will not wield her power against her. "You are witch smart, and you will obey." Hecate hits Diana with a blast from her eye, sending Diana bouncing across the stone floor. As Zatanna rushes over, shouting to Diana, asking if she's okay, Hecate tells her, "Diana is more than okay. She is what she is meant to be." Constantine sighs, "Oh, bloody hell." And Diana stands back up, and Hecate telling her, "Kill them." And Diana says, "Yes, witch mother." But truth be told, Diana blinks her eyes, waking up in a pretty crazy place, void of all color. She gasps as she is lifting herself out of the puddles that she is laying in, and a voice tells her that they were wondering when she would get up. Diana asks who, and the woman flicks her lighter. She says that she's no one really, at least not anymore. As Witchfire lights her cigarette, Diana asks how. They were told that she died with the Sisterhood of the Sleight Hand, and Witchfire tells her, "That's a much nicer way to say you burned all those nice girls." Diana gets up, stating that she was fighting Manitau at Nanda Parbat, and then there was Black Orchid. What's going on? Witchfire says that this is where Hecate keeps them. The parts of their minds that she doesn't want getting away. Those two, though, they're still grounded, still caught up there in all the action. Diana then asks, what is this place? And Witchfire points up, stating that she should recognize the view. Diana turns and looks up and sees the earth and says, "Great Hera." And Witchfire laughs, telling her that she wouldn't recommend invoking a goddess of the Greek pantheon here. This one isn't the real moon, not the literal ball of rock that you and your friends in the Justice League blew up. Think of this place as a metaphor representing the moon. Diana yells that there must be a way out of this place, and Witchfire shrugs, stating that, "I'm dead. I'm not going anywhere. and neither are you. Them mortals don't really stand any chance, but perhaps a demigod could cause some problems, which is why we're here in the collective unconsciousness. Just then Diana falls to her knees, asking why does she suddenly feel so weak, and Witchfire says that it's probably her body doing whatever Hecate is needing it to do. And back in the real world, Diana is continuing her rampage, with Constantine lighting up asking, can you feel it? The rules of magic are being changed right beneath our feet. Hecate is rewriting them in her own language, and Diana is little more than just a pet. There's a pub around the corner where I grew up. Always imagined that that's where I would go if any real apocalypse hit. Get a little drunk while the world falls apart. Zatanna smacks the back of Constantine's head, telling him, just shut up. I have enough to worry about without your self-loathing crap. You're John freaking Constantine. You've given the finger to the devil himself. Stop acting like you can't do this. I just need the clever jackass that I know you are. Constantine begins to cough, and as he pulls the handkerchief away, there's a small amount of blood, and Constantine says, there's something we need to talk about, love. I went to the doctor the other day, and it wasn't looking good. Not sure if it was the demon blood keeping me stitched up, or maybe the upside down man left me a little surprised. But this is not the kind of cancer you can do much to fight. Why do you think I was here in the bar when it burned inside out? Everything that made me halfway useful was tied to that blood. You want John freaking Constantine? Well, he's not here. Just another back alley exorcist with a bloody cough. Zatanna smiles, stating, actually, it's funny you mention that. I have a friend who could use an exorcism right about now. Constantine laughs. Bugger me, you're right. It has no chance of working, but it's better than a pint and a song. Meanwhile, over at the Oblivion bar, everyone stumbles out of the portal, and Ramakushna shouts that she can feel it. The green, it is screaming. Kirk looks at Bobo and asks, maybe we shouldn't have come here. What is this place that you mentioned, Myra? And Bobo says, yeah, it's not a good idea. These folks aren't big fans of me. Don't think that they would let me bring in a magical war to their doorstep. Anyway, since this whole thing is terrifying and all, who else needs a drink? Just then a voice shouts, there will be no revelry. The Witch Mother has commanded your lives to end, and Manitau Dawn will obey. Manitau follows everyone through the portal, and as she crosses, a black shadow reaches out, grabbing her. She struggles, asking what are these shadows, and a voice from the shadows tell her that they are from the shadow dimension, a hellscape devoid of light. It also happens to be the place where the most powerful of them can escape when she massacred their friends. Tracy 13 shouts that this is the Sisterhood of the Sleight Hand, and she really hopes this hurts. Back in Nanda Parbat, Zatanna runs up to Diana, calling out to her, telling her, please, listen! I know there's still good inside of you. Diana turns back and stares, and Zatanna tells her that she knows that she's scared, that she's being forced to do all of this, but Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman beneath the witch mark, is stronger. Through Diana, Hecate speaks and tells her, Zatanna, you are nothing more than a cheap stage magician and fool. Diana cannot hear you through the tempest of my power. You do not deserve to live. Zatanna laughs, telling her, I figured that there would be something like that you would say. Tempest of power or not, even a cheap magician knows that sleight of hand isn't about what you're looking at. It's about what you have missed. Suddenly, Hecate's powers begin to separate from Diana, and Hecate shouts that she can't move. Constantine says, it's a nice thing about a simple spell that scales easily. Tap a binding spell into the raw energy of a dying heart of magic, and you got yourself a party. Now then, Hecate, triple goddess, moonborn queen of magic, release these women. The magic of Earth compels you! Diana begins to scream, and shortly afterwards, Black Orchid and Manitau begin to follow, and Diana says that she can feel it. The power! And back in the collective unconsciousness, Diana screams in pain there as well, with Witchfire sighing, stating, those idiots. Diana rolls around screaming in pain, stating that it is excruciating. And what's more, Black Orchid and Manitau begin to scream until their bodies fade out of this place. Witchfire says they did it. They actually freed them. She hurries over to Diana, asking if she can hear her. Can she still feel the pain? And Diana groans, stating, no. It's like burning flesh. For a moment she was back, and she was looking through her own eyes, and then they started to burn with a powerful light. And as Diana's color fades, Witchfire picks her up and says, okay, you're gonna have to brace yourself for this. Your friends just tried to sever the connection between you and Hecate. They didn't measure it right. Black Orchid and Manitau, they broke free. Then all the power raced into your body. We were talking about a universal level of magical power. More than any living host has ever carried. More than any host is capable of carrying. Diana asks, what is she saying? And Witchfire says, you may have just died. But as Diana comes to the startling revelation that she may not survive this, Swamp Thing makes his way to the burning of the Parliament of Trees to stop Black Orchid. As the vines tighten around her throat, Black Orchid screams to please stop hurting her. It wasn't her. Hecate was using her. Swamp Thing yells, the green has been mortally wounded and the Parliament of Trees is gone. Black Orchid tells him she didn't want any of this. She didn't need any of this. and the vines grip harder, and Swamp Thing tells her, "It doesn't matter. The green will die because of you." Just then a voice calls out to Swamp Thing, telling him no. The green will not fade, it will change and adapt to something new and worthy of this world. A beautiful new garden paradise will spring forth from these woods and remind the world of nature's might. This is the will of their mistress, Hecate. But for the parliament of flowers to grow, the old must be pruned away. Back at the Oblivion Bar, Manitou begins to wake up, asking if they can hear her now. Bobo tells her, "It depends. Are you gonna try and kill us again? If not, then yeah, we can hear you. How was it you managed to escape Hecate's grasp?" Manitou tells him that it is not she who broke free, but something broke her free. The actions of her friends at Nanda Parbat changed the game for a moment. However, it didn't happen soon enough. Magic is already changing hands, and it belongs to her now. Kirk runs over to the doorway, and as he opens it, he sees a brick wall, stating, "Oh dear." Manitou goes on stating that if Black Orchid was released as well, then both their powers, 2/5 of it, will flow into the next active host. That body will bear the power until it burns out, and the power will at last return to Hecate. Back at Nanda Parbat, Zatanna and Constantine watches as Hecate's power surges through Diana, and Zatanna then asks, "That didn't go our way, did it?" Constantine tells him that he's going to take a guess that Diana is more powerful than any god that has ever walked the earth. She could blink us out of existence if she wanted. She calls back to Hecate, asking, "What shall I do against those who stood against us?" And Hecate tells her to leave them be. They will learn the new meaning of death shortly. Just then Zatanna and Constantine feel a rumble in the ground as a giant temple shoots out of the ground, destroying the surrounding buildings. A large winged specter appears before the two of them, telling them that they stand at the gates of the great necropolis, and they will be brought to their graves shortly. But in the collective unconsciousness, Witchfire looks up at the pale earth, stating that it's almost beautiful in a horrible kind of way. They have front row seats to watch the death of the magic as they know it. Diana looks at the lake where Black Orchid and Manitou were and says that if those two were severed from the witch mark, there must be something down there. You said before that this place was a metaphor, the subconscious of the magic of Hecate herself. Perhaps we could go deeper? Diana then runs, diving into the lakes, and she begins to swim it down. And she swims for hours, even days, until she hits something. She touches the glass, beating on it, hoping for an answer. And then nothingness. And then from the nothingness, a figure appears, pulling her through. She climbs out, telling the woman, "Thank you, but what is this place? Who are you?" And the woman tells her, "You already know the answer to that. My name is Hecate, and you must listen carefully if you're going to survive." But back in the real world, the other heroes try to fight back Hecate's forces when suddenly all three groups notice a doorway appear before them. They run through the portal, and as everyone arrives on the island of Circe, she tells them that they should...
Good, because I need a little break. Right. Let's give that a record.
We don't trust each other, and you think it was foolish to have Diana use Hecate's power. The point is, we were
Alexa, stop.
replaced two core pillars of magic with her own power. Life and death now belong to her.
Give
Nature
this a
belongs to her.
TikTok
And if she knocks
record.
out the third pillar, the system will fall apart completely. Knowing her, Hecate is after the sphere of gods, a dimensional home of all spiritual and godly energy in the multiverse. If she takes hold there, the magic that holds each of us together will die. And that includes all of you. Best case scenario will be rewritten with her hate-twisted magic. Bobo Shell is asking, "What do you want from us? Give us something and we can make a stand. There are thousands of gates to the spheres of gods." Circe says, "Come on, I thought you were supposed to be a detective. Think of the mythology at play here. Where do you think we should go?" Elsewhere, Diana walks ever closer to her target. And when she can't walk, she climbs, and she climbs to the highest point at the highest summit. As she rests her feet, she begins to open up the gateway to the abandoned city of Olympus. Back in the collective unconsciousness, though, the Maiden of Hecate says that she must be brief, but there is a lot to understand. In the beginning, there was magic. It was raw, rich, burgeoning light of possibility surrounded by the still-forming multiverse. Eons later, someone called the domain the Sphere of Gods, but the story begins long before the gods. Through the dreams of the first beings, there was light. And from that incredible light, the first being shaped herself out of the cosmos. The young girl sensed that she wasn't alone in the dark, and beneath the sphere of gods, there was a darker, other place. As she formed from that light, he formed from the darkness, the upside down, staring up at her. To put the horrible creatures out of her mind, she began to visit Earth to watch humanity grow. And she would give them touches of her magic to delight and astound them with possibilities of the world around them. As humanity grew, the girl was given a name which meant far off in primitive tongue. as they believed she lived in the moon above, and they called her Hecate. Humanity began to grow, and with it beliefs followed. Pantheons were made, each having their own mysteries and power, and each pantheon tried to win over her favor, each believing that they were a subsidiary to her stories. Hecate allowed this because it amused her so. As time passed, Hecate could feel herself changing, and she felt a responsibility to the new forms of magic and belief. Thus, the aspect of the maiden gave way to the aspect of the mother. There were many offers in the pantheons to try and woo her, and ultimately she agreed to take the hand of the Greek god Hades. The gods of Olympus welcomed her as one of their own. Even the mighty Zeus recognized that her power surpassed even his own. She would be Hecate, the goddess of magic. But in her generosity, mankind noticed the immense power that she wielded and sorted it out for their own. They would mimic the incantations that they had witnessed from her followers, capturing her.
And again, guys, if you are watching, please name the dog, or the dog dragon. I have no name for it, and he's not going to have a name tag until you guys have picked it. The winner will get something drawn for them, or they can get this illustration printed out for them, or have anything they want off the channel. All you got to do is ask, but you must put a comment in the bottom to let me know what you want to call this doggy dragon thing.
Full of hate. She called 4 magicians, giving them what they wanted, a dark magic that would rip the world apart. And she gifted them with nothing but malice and hatred from her heart. The aspect of the mother was shed, and replacing it was the new form, the crone, the righteous hate incarnate. Once free, she let the gods know of her fury too, reminding them of her rightful place in the cosmos. And if they dared cross her again, she would turn it against them and end them. But still, only trusting herself, she broke her power into 5 points and hid them within 5 young girls in whom she saw a sliver of the maiden that she once was. The maiden and the mother tried to retake control, but ultimately the crone dominated and the triple goddess was born. Diana listened, stating that she thinks she understands. But the aspects of the maiden and the mother tell her understand is not enough. Surviving what's to come will take sacrifice. Back on Circe's island, she tells everyone to look, no point in dancing around this thing. There's only one path to take, and they're going to have to kill Wonder Woman. Zatanna shouts that she can't be serious, and Circe says that it's Wonder Woman or magic. If you pick Wonder Woman, we are all going to die, even Diana. She sighs, telling herself, I can't believe that I'm the one making the plea for the greater good here. And she begins to cast her magic, telling everyone that they know what they have to do. The right killing blow to Diana will set off a reaction equal to an atomic bomb in magic. This will be the end of Hecate, and there is no other option. So ask yourselves, what would Wonder Woman do? With that, everyone vanishes. Meanwhile, up in Olympus, Diana continues destroying the place of the old gods, and she hears a voice calling out to Hecate, telling her that this is wrong. She looks over, and Zatanna goes on stating that she should have trusted Diana more. She should have helped her. And right now, that's what they're going to do for Diana, for Wonder Woman. Take the witch down. From inside of the collective unconsciousness, Diana watches as her friends begin to make their final stand, and she begs the aspects to tell her what to do. The maiden and the mother tell her that she must hold on to what is best in her. Hold on to her heart, and do not succumb to darkness. Do not become the crone. Hecate's first act of magic divided it in a train. All of the troubles spawned from that division. All paths forward must take that into account. Diana tells everyone to stand back, and Zatanna shouts to Circe, telling her that they need her in order to restore order. She said it was. Diana stops her, stating that she wasn't wrong. This feels impossible, but there's something that must be done. Please, everyone, stand down from the final fight. And as she falls to her knees, she calls out to Hecate, begging for her to listen. Hecate yells for her to continue the destruction of Olympus. Her goddess commands it. Diana tells her she knows the story. The other 2/3 told her she knows the pain that she feels and the hatred inside. There are things that need to be changed, yes, but this is not the way to do it. Release your control and use your incredible power to heal magic. Do not tear it down. Hecate shouts that she will not yield, and Diana continues to plead, asking her, do not make me kill you. Hecate scoffs, stating, that possibility ended years ago. This is what I am now, and this is all that I will be. Diana looks back at Zatanna, telling her, I'm going to need your help. You're going to have to use your magic. Zatanna pauses for a moment and then tells her that her magic would open up a door to the other kind. It's too dangerous. They'd be trading one unstoppable force for another. And Diana says that she knows the cost of magic. She also knows what must be done. Zatanna stares at her and quietly says, Nepo eth Rup. There's an ear-splitting crack-a-kaboom as lightning strikes, and Hecate calls out, asking, what have you unleashed? The jagged voice of the upside-down man says, ah, yes, I remember this power from so long ago. I can taste it already. Within seconds, the upside-down man latches onto Hecate and begins to devour her, slowly ripping her to pieces, bit by bit. Using the last of Hecate's power, Diana opens up a portal back to Earth, focusing her power and draining the last of the witch mark. As that portal closes, the witch mark fades, and the death rattle of Hecate echoes throughout all of magic itself, letting everyone know the witching hour is finally over. A few days later, in the Hall of Justice, Diana sits alone, and Zatanna says that it seems the necropolis and the Parliament of Flowers are sticking around. But they are starting to realize that their master is gone, and they will have to play by the old rules if they don't want an all-out war. Swamp Thing isn't taking it well, which is to say that he disappeared into the Martian Rose Garden a few hours ago. Bobo and Kirk are handling the debriefing with the rest of the League, and Superman's just upset that he couldn't save all of those people. As Zatanna sits, Diana tells her that she knows how he feels, and she is so sorry about all of this. If she had respected the raw power of magic, maybe things would have been different. The other kind are closer to the reality than they have ever thought possible. Olympus is being devoured by them as we speak, and her gods have long since left their heaven empty. Zatanna smiles, stating, hey, their little ragtag group just saved magic from the virtually omnipotent god. That's gotta count for something, right? And Diana says that she can feel that something still bothers her, though, and Zatanna says yes. But under her skin, really, when Hecate's power was broken, it was split into 5 pieces, with her, Witchfire, Menatow, and Black Orchid. That's 4. Someone is unaccounted for, and that power flowed from host to host. That would mean that the final host has all of Hecate's power, whether they know it or not. The other kind might not be the only threat in the horizon. Meanwhile, over on an island in the middle of nowhere, a cackling laughter echoes throughout the stone halls. The plan worked far better than she had ever imagined. How easy it was to guide them to her own.
Just going to record that before I put
She
any more
often
detail
dreamed
in.
of this moment over a millennia ago, but now that moment has finally arrived. The old goddess of magic is dead, and the new goddess is born. Reality trembled with the might of Circe's laughter. The fools actually believed the witching hour had drawn to a close, but the true horror has yet to be seen. The witching hour is complete, and make sure you subscribe right here at Comicstorian to keep up to date as to what is happening with the Justice League Dark, the Justice League, and the Justice League Odyssey. And don't forget, we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where we bring you a lot of extra content. Most of it is basically the Comicstorian team goofing around and bringing you podcasts. But if you want to see our opinions on the TV shows nice and early, if you want to see our opinions on the Comics Experiment episodes nice and early, if you want to see me and Dan just having 3 beers and talking about something, come on over to the Comicstorian Patreon, and I'll see you there. That laugh was weird.
Yeah, name the dog, guys. It is a doggy dragon, so keep him weird, keep him strange, keep him silly, but keep him clean. Keep him nice. What is this doggy dragon called? Just putting his scales on now. Oh, furry scales, I'm not sure. Just keeping it loose. Keeping the idea sort of loose, so it can be adapted if I feel like changing anything.
Storylines within them, allowing you to understand the lore within your favorite pop culture universe. Over the course of the years that we've been doing this,
But there's another character that has been designed on the live channels, or on the live channel, on the live streams.
And that kind of a thing. Knowing that this becomes a problem for newcomers to find the entirety of the story,
I need a name.
Exactly where you're looking in our playlist, we every Monday create a full story series where we take all of those videos, cut out all of the intros and outros, give you this new one, and tell you a full story. We call it Full Stories. Today we're going to tell you the entirety of Heroes in Crisis back to back. And the reason we're doing this is the continuation just came out, called Flash Forward. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so enjoy this storyline, and we'll talk after you're done listening to the entirety of Heroes in Crisis. Gordon, Nebraska. Booster Gold thanks the diner waitress as she refills his cup of coffee. One of the other customers pauses with his cup inches from his mouth, his eyes staring out the window. Shirley, there's another hero coming. He stammers as Harley Quinn peers through that window. The bell over the door jingles as Booster remarks, "That's not a hero, that's a villain." The only thing that Shirley wants to know is there going to be a fight? And Booster nods. Yeah, there's going to be a fight. Meanwhile, from before, the cameras roll as Harley Quinn starts her confession The truth is that Harley doesn't believe in trauma. Everyone believes it's a thing that's real, but after all those years of hearing and listening to it from her patients, what she really should have been doing is beating them with a sledgehammer. She laughs, but the laughter doesn't stop, and she starts to cry. Meanwhile, back at the diner, Harley is trying to decide what to eat while Booster is finishing his coffee. She finally decides on some peach pie and coffee, and Shirley heads off to get it. As Harley drinks her coffee, she turns to Booster. Can I tell you a secret, Goldie? You promise not to tell? Booster promises. I hate pudding. With those words, Shirley brings over the peach pie, and Harley takes a bite. It's delicious. Elsewhere in Nebraska, Superman has arrived with the sound of an echoing boom displaying his speed. All right, I'm here. He speaks over the comm as he circles over the lonely farmhouse in the middle of a cornfield. A flock of ravens take flight as he approaches. Meanwhile, from before, the cameras roll as Blue Jay starts his confession. I'm Blue Jay and I shrink. He controls it really well, until recently that is. He can't control it. He can't go to sleep at night. He'll go to sleep at night just to wake up small, drowning in his sheets. He knows it comes from his memory of Silver Sorceress and that arrow. He knows that's where it comes from, but he can't stop and he doesn't want to drown. Meanwhile, back in the diner, Harley finishes her pie and she begins a quote. She conjured the most evil demon, and she came through very scathed. Pulling out her butter knife, she stabs Booster in the ribs, throwing him off his bar stool as she begins to sing. He hits the ground as she stabs him again, but he manages to get his forearm between the knife and his stomach, probably saving his life. She brings the knife up again, preparing for another thrust, but Booster uses an energy blast, blowing out the windows in the diner. She struggles to her feet, warning that she's going to hurt Booster as she uses his blood like camo paint. I'm 13 minutes out, don't touch anything. Batman responds to Superman's radio check-in. Bruce, he knows. Wonder Woman chimes in as she flies as quickly as possible to their location. Superman stumbles over his words, barely mumbling a response as he looks over the carnage before him. The bodies of several heroes, their friends, laid out in the cornfield. Dried blood covering their wounds. Before, the camera rolls as Hotspot starts his confession. He has a catchphrase. I'm just warming up. He hopes it's good. He uses it a lot. He uses it when he gets in a fight, when he gets scared. It helps to have something to say. Even if you go out, people will remember you. And in our current day, Superman stands over the body of Hotspot, confirming his death as Batman and Wonder Woman arrive.
There we go.
Would say, wasn't there? I can't remember. Superman asks as he kneels before his fallen comrade. But elsewhere, Booster fires an energy blast at Harley as she charges.
Oh, maybe I should listen to more stories. I tend to zone off, get better illustrations done.
A knee to the face knocks Booster back when he recovers, throwing her to the ground.
I'm quite satisfied with that. So there's my buddy dog, as the day's word is buddy.
No, fine. He decides that he has taken her to the Hall of Justice, and with that they leap into the sky. Superman has arrived at Sanctuary. Dried blood stains the walls of the simple house. He floats forward. There's no sign of the greeter. I'm going in. The door swings open, and the bodies of Wally West and Roy Harper, they just lay there, just laid out inside. Arsenal and Flash are confirmed. Before, the cameras roll as Arsenal starts his confession. I'm Arsenal, and a superhero and an addict. So, two things. Roy started shooting up for his health. He doesn't have powers, so he would get hurt a lot. Because of the pain, the doctors gave him pills. Lots of pills. So many pills that he was killing his kidneys. He switched to needles to save his kidneys. Isn't that what superheroes do? Save things? Booster and Harley begin to fly higher and higher, but she is squirming free, knife at his throat. Do it and we'll both fall. He struggles, yet Harley knows, rearing back, stabbing the knife into his ribs. Booster, he wasn't lying, and they both begin to tumble out of the sky. Back at Sanctuary, Superman averts his eyes from the carnage around him. Batman and Wonder Woman close by. The wall behind the bodies of the greeter is marred by graffiti that states, "The puddlers are all dead." Wonder Woman explains that the puddlers are someone who removes the impurities so that the iron can be strong. They survey the scene, and Batman knows that their chance of helping their friends has become another hunt for vengeance. Elsewhere, Harley and Booster have crashed. Booster doesn't understand. How could she do that to all those people who were just trying to get help? And Harley looks at him. She didn't kill them. He did. Before, the camera starts to roll as Booster puts on his best superhero voice. I'm Booster Gold. I'm the greatest hero you've never heard of. And I'm in Sanctuary, the super reality therapist built by Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Designed to help superheroes who are messed up from fighting too much, from seeing too much. Like Booster Gold. Okay, I'm here. I'm talking. Help me. The camera begins to roll as Poison Ivy begins her confession. Obviously, I shouldn't be here. You're made for heroes. Ivy isn't a hero, she's a terrorist. She fights Batman with vines and kisses. She knows that she shouldn't be here, but Harley said. I sure did. And with her name mentioned, Harley appears springing in and interrupting the confession. Pamela starts to yell. Harley shouldn't be here. No one else is supposed to know where here is. And Harley replies with a simple boop. Pamela gives up. Doesn't matter what she says. Harley boops her again. Meanwhile, Penguins stare downward as Harley pushes forward, leaving a trail of blood behind her. Oh, hello. Penguin smiles down to her from over his food. Harley knows that he's in the middle of dinner, but she needs his help. Who's coming for you? He sneers as he wipes his hideously toothed mouth. Harley can't be sure, but she thinks everyone. Meanwhile, with our heroes, you know, Superman states as he stares down at his reflection in Commander Steele's shiny uniform. I don't, is the simple reply from Batman, who doesn't even bother to look up from his work on the body. Standing over them, Wonder Woman agrees with Superman. You're Batman, you know. Yet Batman stands by his statement. Sanctuary was designed so that the heroes could openly confess their pain and feelings. It was designed so that they would feel safe giving out this information. Nothing was saved after every confessional from the heroes. The tapes were erased. Batman doesn't know who did this, but it's Batman. He's done this before. He prepares. He built a back door. He must have. Except he didn't. It needed to be anonymous. So if it stayed anonymous, he was there. Often. Batman finishes his autopsy, with Commander Steele's impenetrable skin still intact. He died when someone forced him to swallow something. The bloody remains are pulled free, and they see that he swallowed joke teeth. Meanwhile, before all this, the camera rolls on Batman. He stands in the back, finally removing his mask, and he sits. Batman has spent years training partners to fight by his side, and he's watched so many of them die. His family die. I'm sorry. Back in our current time, though, Booster Gold awakens in a cornfield as his robotic sidekick Skeets yells at him. Hey Skeets, what's up? Booster is the one who sent him the emergency signal, which brought Skeets running, and he found Booster dying in the field. He managed to heal him, so maybe should be
shading.
What is up? Booster sits yawning, filling in Skeets on the last couple of hours. You know, everyone dying at Sanctuary, him fighting Harley Quinn, the usual. Meanwhile, back at Harley, she's amusing herself by playing Go Fish with a penguin. Somehow the penguin is winning. The ceiling explodes with a sound of cracking wood, and Harley is greeted by the arrival of the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. She introduces them to her penguin friend. Back with Booster, he's flying through the air, questioning whether he should turn himself in. You should absolutely turn yourself in, Skeets answers. But if he turns himself in, the others will think that he did it, and maybe he didn't. They also might think that he did it, and maybe he did. Really, there's only one thing to do. Ask yourself, what would Batman do? And with those words, Booster decides to solve the mystery. Back with Harley, she's been found out, which is surprising since she got her safe house from the most gossip-driven supervillain in Gotham. She grabs Wonder Woman in a big hug, explaining to her the horror of Booster Gold killing everyone. She knows that they won't believe her, but she wants them to know the truth before the fight begins. It wasn't her, it was Booster. She snags Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, flipping away. Batman reacts, missing the nimble Harley and allowing her to slip the lasso around his neck. She pins him down. She begins to choke him with it. Harley needs whatever Batman has to fight Superman with, but Superman knows that Batman wouldn't have any kryptonite on him. He asked, and Batman is his friend, right? Superman would have no reason to not trust him, except third bow to the left. Lead container.
Alexa, stop.
Harley pulls free the kryptonite rock that Batman is carrying.
I'm gonna check comments, guys.
To his knee, managing
there's
to
nobody
escape
there.
after he falls. I leave you with one thought. Booster Gold did it. Before the cameras roll. Wonder Woman has had many nightmares, thoughts, and feelings from her life. But there are others that need Sanctuary more than her. When the nightmares come, She stands strong and she bites her lip. Thank you. Meanwhile, in the present day, Booster Gold has decided that he just needs help. He needs to figure this out. He's going to need the help of some of the best detectives in the DC universe. Booster has gone to Flash for help. He wants to do what Batman would do. He needs to know about the bodies. And the Flash has done the autopsy yet. Except, as Booster is stumbling over his words, as he can't quite get a proper sentence out, Barry doesn't know what he's talking about. When the Flash realizes that Booster is talking about an injured, possibly dead Wally West, he zooms away, lightning streaking behind him. He's back in mere moments when he discovers the truth. Wally West died, with his fist connecting with Booster's jaw. What did you do? He screams as Booster hits the ground. Back at the warehouse, Superman sees what Flash is doing, and he moves to stop him. On the bridge overlooking the water, Harley mourns the loss of her girlfriend Poison Ivy. She was the one who told Ivy to go to Sanctuary, that no harm would befall her, that she'd be safe, they could fix her. But over at the Daily Planet, Lois Lane is trying to finish up a story that she's been working on. She's barely listening as someone drops off the mail, including a package from an unknown source. Our heroes are hiding the truth from us. Here is the truth. More truths will come. Signed, the Puddlers. But here's before. When the cameras rolled, and Superman lives with two identities. One is the flawed human known as Clark Kent, and the other is a perfect hero, Superman. But which is he really? Is Clark just Superman pretending to be flawed, or is Superman just Clark trying to be perfect? He doesn't talk about these things. He can't. Because what if this kind of thing got out? Lagoon Boy, master of the lagoon. He's been at Sanctuary 3 months now. The blast rips through his body, throwing him to the ground, and as he struggles to get up, he simply says, again. The blast hits him again, and from the ground he questions how many times the laser has hit him since he's been here. Sanctuary answers, 337 times. That's a lot. Smoke curls into the air from the blast that hit his chest. He sees the battle all the time. His teammates being hurt, the laser hitting him. When he's awake, when he's asleep, over and over again. It's 337 times here, yet for Lagoon Boy, it's always. He stands back up. It feels better for it to actually be happening, even if it's not real. It's better than just having to replay it in his own mind over and over. One of these times, maybe it won't hurt. Maybe it won't hit him. Maybe he'll realize that the laser isn't real and that it doesn't hurt anymore. But that laser, it hits him again and again. Time passes and finally, Lagoon Boy is done for the day. He's tired. I'll come back tomorrow, he tells Sanctuary as he walks away. Suddenly, emergency warnings begin to blare throughout Sanctuary. Wally West, the Flash. He's been at Sanctuary for 2.5 weeks now. He lays in his bed telling himself not to be scared as he holds the Psycho Pirate mask over his face. He asks Sanctuary to bring him to the backyard to see Linda. Why here? Why this place? Linda and the kids run to him. They're happy to see him, all hugs and smiles. And they stand before Captain Cold, his weapon pointed at them. His kids Jai and Iris are suited up. Ready? He asks. They are. They love him. I love you too. He smiles. He's now tucking them into bed at night, kissing them gently on the forehead. After once again telling them the story of how he got his powers, they love that story. It's one of their favorites. But emergency warnings begin to blare throughout Sanctuary. Now it's Booster Gold's first day. He's greeted by Sanctuary as he floats closer. This is going to be great. He's going to have a good time. They explain the rules. Everyone in Sanctuary is anonymous. Everyone is able to say whatever they want. And this is the place that you can go, that you can just spill the beans. Outstanding, Booster says with all smiles. It's going to be great. They show him to his room. Swell! They leave him to himself with Booster quietly sitting on his bed, his head in his hands. He's now in one of those therapy chambers, sitting across from himself. This, he gestures to himself, this is what you came up with. But Booster begins to argue with himself, judging himself, hitting himself. That's when the emergency alarms began to blare. But Booster can't stop hitting himself. He hates himself. Outside, Lagoon Boy has discovered the body, with the spear piercing his chest where the laser used to hit. He stares down in shock at all of that blood. He begins to laugh. He can't stop laughing. And he falls. Wally is cradling the body of Roy Harper. He should have been there to stop this, but the kids. Wally just didn't want to be alone. And that's when Harley's hammer falls down on top of his head, cracking his skull. She looks up to see Booster. I didn't know you were here. She smiles. He stares dumbly down at her. It's my first day, he stammers. Harley wonders how it's going so far. You know, not great. Everyone's dead. But back before...
And there we have it, guys.
And we begin to see everyone
pause that there.
showed up.
Don't need to hear the rest of that because you can go check it out on Comic Storian, guys. Go and check them out. They are on YouTube. They do all kinds of comics, and that's just one tiny little taste. Right, okay, so we've done all the shading. We've done all of the sketching, and everything is complete and done. Again, today's word was buddy, and another day of the picture and another page from my story that I've been doing each day. Right, so yesterday, Buddy, the dog, I'm not calling it Buddy, but if you guys have a name, please let me know, and I'll put it right there. But Blute Angle, is whistling to Buddy, the dog dragon, and he has, because he's dug the hole for Blute Angle after the defeat of the other, because the other was infecting the world and the grass and the world around him, so he had to be returned back to the other side of the mirror portal, and that's what the hole is for. But yet he has to be buried, or he has to be hidden away, so we'll have to find out what happens tomorrow. But hopefully you have enjoyed today's. I really have enjoyed drawing this dog dragon, but I really need a name, so don't forget, guys, to leave me a comment in the comment section what you think this little buddy, little dude is actually called. Any comments I have are welcome, but make sure that you keep them happy and nice. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow for day 26, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the links that will appear if you're watching back. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.